Hello and welcome everyone. This video is on how wants and desires and needs for things get in the way of our happiness. So I'm going to start the video with a little thinking task. I want you to think back to the last time you bought something new, something that you were really excited about. Think about the excitement you felt leading up to it, and think about how happy you were when you first bought it. Think about how you imagined life would be when you finally had that thing you'd been waiting for so long. Now, remember how excited and happy you were when you first got it, and think about the excitement you felt as you were opening it up. Then I want you to think about the moments that came afterwards. Now, I imagine that some of you might be picturing the moment that you opened it and had this feeling of, oh, now what? And then life went on as if nothing had changed. Others are thinking about how happy it made them for a while, but then again, after some time, it became a normality and it kind of lost its novelty and you kind of became used to it, so to speak. For some, this may take a few hours. Others, it may take a few days. It may take a couple of weeks or even months. But at the end of the day, it always happens. And you're no happier or better off than you were before, except now you have that thing, but you're taking it for granted. You are no happier. And now many of you will want that excitement back. So you've started wanting the next thing and the cycle begins again. What you're experiencing is the same thing that people experience when they take drugs. A temporary boost of serotonin and dopamine, which creates this kind of high. Then you're sort of wanting to get back to it. You're chasing a high that barely exists, if it exists at all. People keep imagining that the next thing is going to make you happier, but people also have a tendency to ignore the experiences that they've already had and ignore the realization that they're not actually getting any happier with the more things that they buy. Even when you have everything that you could possibly want, your mind somehow still finds a way to think of something else that it might want. This, in a sense, is propelled by our societal structure. Capitalism is founded on the basis of material gain. It is founded on people wanting and needing. It doesn't work if everyone's happy and satisfied with what they have. We're taught to want and to not be satisfied from birth. I mean, look at millionaires who aren't happy. They have everything that they could want, but many of them still fall into depression, develop eating disorders, feel anxiety, etc. Look at how many have ended up taking their own lives. I think it is quite possible that money is part of the problem, and that's not because money is innately bad, or it doesn't mean that you can't work in order to and try and gain more if you want to be happy. You can, and these things can be nice and they can aid your quality of life, but it is common for people who are unhappy or not fully satisfied to work and try to resolve that feeling of emptiness and insecurity and try to fill that void with more things, more possessions. The problem is that once you reach the point where you have everything you could possibly want, there's nowhere else you can go. There's nothing left to get. And if you're still not happy, then people will start feeling like maybe there is no solution and they feel like they have no way out. The only solution they have ever known their entire lives didn't actually help. And that can be terrifying. Of course, we need some things to be happy, but all we really need is security, the knowledge that we will be okay and not feeling like we have to struggle through life. Extra is nice, but it's not essential to happiness. To give an example, I walked a pilgrimage a few years ago called the Camino de Santiago. On the way, maybe a couple of days after passing the city of Leon, I reached just a bit before reaching the region of Galicia. I met a man called David. Now, if any of you have walked it, you may have met him too. He was essentially homeless. He had set up a hammock by this structure that looked almost like a ruin on the side of the road. He had set up this little stall where he gave away fruit and juices to people walking the pilgrimage. When asked, "How do I pay?" he responded with, no payment required. The Camino provides, although there was a little donation box on the side. And he used those donations to get fruit and juices for the next day and for the next pilgrims. Through a conversation with him, we found he once had a life, but he had struggled with addiction. He had been to prison. He lost his wife and children. But I realized he was probably one of the happiest people I'd ever met, even though he had nothing. When I asked him about it, he pointed at the sunglasses I was wearing at the time, and he said, "You go most of your life wearing these glasses. If you wear green glasses, you'll see everything green. If you wear dark sunglasses, you'll see everything as dark. All you have to do is take the glasses off and you'll see things the way that they really are." That's easier said than done though. He said, "The greatest teacher on earth is the flower. Watch how it opens up to the world." I couldn't help but think of the lotus and how iconic that is in Buddhism. But my point is, he didn't need everything that we think are essential to be happy. If we look at positive psychology, which is the scientific study of what makes us happy, there are a variety of things that make us happy. They often speak of different types of happiness. There are 3 main types of happiness, and only one of them, the pleasurable life, even touches on the type of happiness you get from individual moments. But even then, it is said that only fulfilling one of these types of happiness will not make you happy overall. One needs to look at all 3. Positive psychology employs the use of positive psychology intervention, also known as PPIs. None of these PPIs involve acquiring new or more things. They are all introspective and deal with concepts such as gratitude, kindness, and compassion. Bear in mind that compassion to us means compassion to others, but one must also incorporate compassion for self into your definition. Often we'll want things that are bad for us, that make us unhappier in the long term. An example is somebody dealing with substance misuse disorder. They will want their next hit, but it won't make them happier. It'll only give them a temporary boost. The drug actually makes them unhappy in the long run. Do not mistake a want for a need or fulfilling a want with happiness. Another example is smokers. They'll want a cigarette, but they won't be happy that they need to smoke. The truth is that living your life waiting and wanting for the next thing prevents you from living in the now. You end up forgetting about the present moment and focusing on what comes next. You live your entire life just waiting for the future. Even whenever you are satisfied with something that you've just received, you are focusing on something else, not on yourself. You're relying on that thing to provide you with happiness, but relying on external things will never bring you true happiness. Happiness is found in the moment and within yourself. Alan Watts pointed out that when we listen to music, we are not waiting for the end, we are enjoying the moment. And that might be one of the reasons music is so powerful. Happiness is found through acceptance of what is, for we cannot change what already is. But remember, acceptance is not resignation. One can accept what is and still do something to change it. But worrying about it and allowing it to affect you is not going to change it or make it any better. There is nothing wrong with wants or desires or material things. However, when we become consumed by them and rely on them, they get in the way of true happiness, which is found in the moment, in presence, in acceptance, and within yourself. For you will always be here and now. So why are so many of us living in the future or the past instead of where we actually are and being content with that? Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Do not hesitate to like and subscribe. Peace, love, and understanding.